Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel, and just wanted to do a follow-up video to the one I just done where I was out checking out my antennas, before the winter mix comes in. I was talking about the MFJ 1026 box, and I thought maybe some people would be interested to see how I do that. So if you're not familiar with the MFJ 1026, here's what it looks like. Oh, getting too old anymore. Okay, sorry about the camera shaky. I'm trying to get it where the glare is not on there. Okay, now mostly these are used for QRM elimination, and I do use it for that, as I mentioned in my last video. Sometimes, 5 miles worth of electric lines between us and town. We've had some insulators go bad, and when I'm in the process of trying to keep my calm and work with the power company to find it and fix it, I have to use this to null out it's not real loud, but sometimes there'll be a little raspy noise just above the static, and I can null it out until they fix it. Right now, everything's pretty quiet. Noise floor is about S2 at night, sometimes even lower. But anyway, you can also use this. It says noise canceling or signal enhancer. And I use this when I don't need it for noise canceling for a bad pole. I use it to enhance the signals. But here you got your power on and off. Transmit, delay, I don't use that because I'm not transmitting, not a ham operator. Preamp is on and off, and that controls your auxiliary gain, and the auxiliary gain is hooked to, if you saw the previous video, you saw the little wire dipole I made that's by the metal shed. That's hooked to this, and also that little extra sloper I had in the front of the house is hooked to this. Frequency high and low, usually by rule of thumb, they say above 10 megahertz is high frequency, below 10 is low. But sometimes, depending on what you're doing, you have to experiment with that a little bit. The phase control, when you're running two antennas, you can turn the phase, and it basically, it's like electronically rotating your wire antenna like you would on a rotor, but electronically. Your phase, normal, inverted, which inverts at 180 degrees. God, I just can't stop shaking today. Sorry about that, guys, but damn. The main antenna, that's where my Alpha Delta DX Ultra, the big one in the back, is hooked. So we come down here. There's two switches here. An Alpha Delta 2-position switch and a 4-position switch. Now this 2-position switch is where those two noise sensing antennas or extra antennas are. The first position down here is that little Alpha Delta sloper that's in the front of the house by where the loop was. The second position is that little wire dipole I made out by the metal shed. This is the 4-position switch. This selects, my Drake R8, my RSP-DX, my ICOM 8600, or my SAT 800. And the way it does, okay, the antenna comes in from my big Alpha Delta DX Ultra in the back. These are little filters. This is a high-pass filter. I don't have any problem with medium wave breakthrough, but WJPF 1340 in Heron, I'm about 4 miles away from the transmitter tower, and this is just sort of an insurance policy to make sure that when propagation's weird and stuff, it doesn't come through. This allows me to just go down to long wave band. It kills everything above long wave band, and I can listen to the beacons and stuff like that. But coming back up here, the Alpha Delta comes in here, and it goes through the filters, and it goes out of the filters. It goes up into the input of the 1026. Then it comes out of the 1026, goes under my desk, and hooks in right here. This is the antenna in. And then the signal gets distributed out. That way I can use this 1026 box on any of my 4 radios I want to have it on. And my loop, there's the box for the loop. And each one of those coaxes that's unhooked, that goes to a different radio, because I haven't found a switchable in connector switch like the Alpha Deltas are. I haven't really looked, but I just switch them, just unhook and hook whichever one I want at the time I'm using, and then to turn it on, you just do that. But when you come back up here, I can turn the main gain up to my Alpha Delta, the DX Ultra, see where the signal peaks at. And then I can come over here and select which either antenna I want, the back one or the front one. I turn this one down. Now I turn this one up to match the signal. And then I come back over and turn this one back up to where it was. And I can play around with the phase and I can max that signal out. Same way if we've got a bad power pole outside or somewhere down, because you get a bad insulator on a power pole, it can travel sometimes 3-4 miles, and it'll be low, but you can hear it. But what you do is I turn my main antenna gain up until I hear the noise from a bad power pole when it happens, and then I slowly start turning this one up. And when it hits that spot, the sound from the electrical interference disappears, but the signals stay. And then you can adjust your phase to the deepest null, and you've got it. And sometimes I need the preamp to help boost that one of those little wire antennas I use for noise sensing pickup, just to help match it. But right now, everything seems to be running fine. Like I said, my noise floor is about S2, sometimes even lower than that at night. But, 8 averages about every 2.5 years that I have to call and start tangling with my power company to try to come out and fix the pole, even though I do all the work and get my noise sensing antenna out and drive up down the road and find the pole and tell them which one it is. It always seems to take them 4 or 5 months to get out here and fix the thing. But yeah, that's how it works. And this is the rotator box for my loop. But a lot of people would say, well, why don't you just use an attenuator if the signals are strong, and just leave it at full gain? Well, out here in the country, I get some really strong signals, and attenuator, attenuator will go in steps, whatever. But this one, 0 is all the way off. I can just slowly start turning the gain up, and I can just reach up here and play with the gain and stuff like that, instead of trying to go in a menu and attenuate. Maybe it's too much, maybe it's not enough. Just this is the way I do it. Okay, this is the way I do it. And let me ask you guys something. If you have an idea or a way of doing things, and you put that idea or way into play, and it works just fine, is it a dumb idea or is it silly? Well, no, I don't think so. And we all have our own ways of doing things, and as long as they work, be happy with it, right? So that's the way everything is kind of hooked up. And anyway, thanks for watching again, and I will see you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody.